Hi everybody, it's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. Fantastic to have you here. If you have had trouble with eating, and I'm assuming that's probably the case since you're listening to this, or you've had somebody close to you that's had trouble with eating, you'll notice a form of what we can call anxiety or busyness or extreme, like sort of high, fast-paced energy. Some people can call it craving. Craving would fit into this category. You know, even if you're somebody who's never had trouble with food and eating, you've had this kind of experience because it's part of the human condition to feel stress or pain or jumpiness or busyness or anxiety. Now, some people experience it far more than others. There are human beings on the planet who have never experienced strange, weird cravings that seem to overtake and, like consume you as if like you're a ghost is overtaking you. You're being, a spirit has entered your body and you now need to be exorcised because it's so strong. But that's what it feels like when you have a strong, intense experience of stress or anxiety, right? And in the form of craving, it's like a leaning forward and reaching towards something. I mean, just think about where craving sits in your body or where you feel it in the present moment when it's here. It's an interesting thing to study. Usually, our mind will come in so fast and say, I am against this experience. This is terrible. And you might think of it later. The craving caused me to XYZ, caused me to eat the entire bucket. It caused me to go out and buy alcohol. It caused me to, get cigarettes and start smoking. So there's this idea then that I must undo the craving. I must fix that. I must adjust it. There's something wrong with it. That kind of stress and that busyness and that anxiety, that intensity is just terrible, horrible, never to be lived with, impossible. Must cut this out, chop it off, destroy it, burn it in a furnace. I will never crave. The only thing about that strategy, which, is sort of understandable, so have compassion for yourself if you've thought about, I'm going to search the world over to figure out how to not crave and not feel anxious and not have a busy mind. The only problem with that is it's practically impossible. Something to do instead is let that craving be there. Actually, invite it in. Weird thing to do, right? You've been so against it for a long time. Why not just let it come on in and see what it has to say that maybe is not being learned by you or heard? You have this intense anxiety, these strong cravings, this huge bubbling movement that feels so powerful you can't even think straight. And all you want to do is just fall into the binge or call in sick to work and just zone out or, quit everything. Well, it's no wonder you want to do that because it's such a strong and intense feeling. It's almost frightening that something is so big. But what if you just opened up to it, that it's actually trying to say something? Some part of your whole psyche and the depth of you and the stories that you're telling yourself are expressing themselves in this form of busy wildness and chaos that is actually very, very interesting. So if that's the case, and you could welcome it in and just let it be there, not with resignation. It is not the kind of letting it be there that I'm fighting it for my whole life and I'm never going to get over this, so why not? Like sort of a despairing sinking of depression, like a despaired, depressed feeling. That's not the case. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually allowing it to speak to you In fact, decide that you don't want it to go away. You don't want to get rid of it until you really understand what it's trying to tell you. This is part of you bursting forth in your experience of life, coming out in this form of intensity, and it's got a certain very important message. One message that I will suggest, well, you really have to find out for yourself, that it is saying is that there may be words connected. There may be things that you're frightened of about life. Maybe you're concerned about emptiness, or what we usually judge as being terrible, difficult feelings to have. Anger, feeling betrayed, worrying about being rejected, that you're not a good enough person. These can be taken to self-inquiry. You can question if that is really true and really feel it. You can even decide that when this happens, you're going to open up and flow with it, but you're not going to just act on it like you're an automaton, like you're a robot that just got beeped, and now you are going to go, okay, I will now go get some ice cream. That's the only possibility. You don't have to do that. You might even find, surprise, surprise, that if you stop even for 2 split seconds, and if you don't follow that craving and just think this is the only way to go, that you actually find some other things that are even more interesting, some other avenues to take, a different way of looking and being with it that is surrendered, more relaxed, and where you can find a sense of solid ground instead of panicking and having to, I've heard this so often, once the craving comes over me, I absolutely have to eat. The only thing that is ever going to resolve this problem is eating and going through the cycle. Then later, after all the eating is done and I'm through binging and I've reached my limit, or I'm sober again, then I can reflect back and look at what just happened. Then I can calm down. BS meter, hello? Are you telling yourself that story and therefore falling into that groove? Are you sure that is absolutely true? Do you really absolutely have to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, follow those instructions or what those voices are telling you, that the only way this will be resolved is by taking action and eating? What if you did nothing? What if you surprised those voices and you're not having a war with them because you're going to lose? This is saying, come on, guys, give it to me. Tell me what's going on. Shout if you need to. Let's see what's happening. I'm just suggesting that waiting only a split second of time, that's all you need. Because the way you've been operating is with no waiting at all. Here comes the craving. I can hardly stand it. Boom, here I go. So just try waiting with an openness to see what it has to say, what this energy is speaking to. Switch chairs and start writing like you're writing a script, and write from the perspective and the point of view of the voice that is demanding this craving be satisfied. See what it says. All right. Don't let it go away. You don't want this to go away until you understand what it's trying to show you, what it needs to say. Maybe it's just a little baby child that needs to be cradled in your own arms. And that's possible for you to do, and it's possible for anyone to do. I know that's the case. Okay. Lots of love. Let me know how it goes. Bye, everyone.